they're all obedient to God and they listen to God, how he created everything. The path that the sun moves, where the stars position themselves in the sky, those specific positions and orbits, they follow the same pattern. We recognize those patterns. But the reason it's so consistent, a lot of times, we recognize that is the obedience to God. Because everything is meant to be held together by design and the way that everything works. And the moment you find that, for example, when the end comes, everything will be judged. That's why you don't find, this one could be something else, like the idea of like aliens, for example. That's a whole another subject about what aliens are, because technically aliens are simply, by definition, it's just something that's foreign, that's like in a different place. The nature of them, the way that we understand them, and what we call an alien, things that we don't understand, we might just call them aliens. We don't know what it is, right? Let's leave it at that right now. So what I'm trying to say is, when we have these scientific models that tell us, okay, there's going to be a meteor strike on the earth, or there's this star that's coming towards the earth, the moment that that star gets so close to the earth or tries to destroy any of God's creation, that same star or that meteor strike will be also judged by God. If it's not something that God is actually commanding to happen. So if they just fall, they hurt, they kill someone, and that stone, that star, whatever it is, it's also going to be judged at the end. So all creation is judged. And so when you see the waters being parted, it's because the waters, the seas, are also obedient to God. That is why when God gives instruction, he knows what will happen to the water. So all the things that we think, okay, like, did this actually happen? Is this possible? Yes, it did happen. And Jesus walked on water. So that's the thing to understand about creation. And when we can comprehend that what we think is possible and what things should work out in a certain way because we did X, Y, Z, our own understanding of like cause and effect is different from what God understands and what God has created. So our wisdom is limited. God has his heavenly wisdom, his wisdom that he used to create the world, the earth. So he knows, he knew what was in Pharaoh's heart, how Pharaoh would respond, what would happen before it happened. So we also now have to understand that whenever we are trying to fight any battle, whatever is going on, we just have to submit to God. Our submission is what he's asking for. To just not try fight based on our own understanding and put faith in other things that are not him. We have to trust that God knows. God is the creator of everything, every single creation, man, nature, anything, everything in the heavens, everything on earth. He's the creator of everything. And we have to trust that he knows how to find and how to make everything well. So that's the one thing that we just want to really understand and understand him. And that's when we start calling the fear instead of like, oh, I'm afraid of, this person or that person or this, that, right? But it's not a matter of fearing, say, oh, I'm going to be destroyed or anything like that. But God wants us to revere him, because the meaning of the fear that is spoken in the Bible, it's like, okay, the fear of the Lord, it's meaning the reverence, showing reverence, say God is almighty, all powerful. He's the creator of everything. And for us to be like in awe of him. right? Just being in awe and marveled by everything that he can do. And we also do that with our worship. And he wants our worship. He wants us to be obedient. And when you really think about it, when you really, really think about it, he's asking us to do less than what we try to do on our own. He's not asking us to do more. And he's asking us to put all the burdens, all the worries on him. Because a lot of times when we try to do everything and try to do it by our own will and our own knowledge and wisdom that we haven't seeked from him, we tend to mess things up. A lot of times we tend to mess things up. Like history shows us that. History shows us that. Even a lot of things that are messed up right now. Most things don't reveal that people are seeking God. It doesn't. We have a culture that's like so ingrained in believing just in science and not understanding that God is beyond science. He's beyond what we can explore with science. We will never be able to comprehend everything the way that he understands the universe and the world, because he is the creator of everything. So we are given the tools to understand the world just for what it is, so that we can also live, because we've also been given dominion in this realm on earth. And science is a tool for us to understand how we can live or live on the earth and grow and populate and worship God. Because God wants us to procreate and also worship him. He's the Lord of spirits. So the more people that revere him and worship him, that is what God wants. He wants us to worship him and not do too much or worry about a lot of things.